Hello and welcome to my off-screen rendering demo. In this demo I will render the scene from two different camera angles, draw them on the frame buffer texture, and then display the textures. Right now I am rendering to the default frame buffer. When I press Z, I'll draw the scene on the texture of the smaller quad on the right here, except for that quad and the one in the middle. Then I'll draw the smaller quad on the right with its new texture and the scene to the texture of the quad in the middle. Finally, I'll move the camera directly in front of the quad in the middle and render the entire scene. So let's press Z now. There's still a bug that doesn't allow me to draw the skybox on both quads, so I've decided just to draw it on the smaller quad here. So on the right, I am rendering the scene from a different position, and I am changing the angle of the camera to give it a kind of security cam feel. By pressing the equal sign, you can change the position and camera of the angle like so. The nice thing about rendering the scene to a texture is that now you have a powerful way of manipulating a 2D image. So I've created 9 filters in the fragment shader, and we'll walk through them now. You can press M or N to go to a new filter, and you can press the minus sign to toggle full screen filter or security cam filtering. So the first filter is a hue saturation value filter. In this filter we convert the RGB color to an HSV color, change the HSV degree offset, and then convert it back to RGB. So you can change the offset with the comma and period keys. You can see how the color palette is changing there. And switch to security cam filtering. There you go. The next filter is the blur filter. The blur filter performs a weighted average on each pixel fragment. You can toggle a 3x3 or a 5x5 blur with the comma and period keys. The blur is a little hard to see even on my laptop monitor here, so it's probably even harder to see in the video. So I recommend trying it yourself. If you look at the moon right here, I'll just change the blur size. You can hopefully see that it's changing. You can also change the region that you're blurring with the B and V keys. So I'm just going to make the region smaller by pressing V and holding it down. And yeah, so you can see some blurring on the moon and some not blurring on the moon. And then you can move the blur region around with the square bracket keys and the semicolon single quote keys. It's hard to see. Alright, let's move on to the stereo filter. So if you have an old pair of 3D glasses, the scene will pop out here, and you can adjust the offset with the comma and the period keys. You have to kind of keep pressing them. So I'm basically rendering the red on one side and the green and the blue on the other side. Alright, the next filter is the interlace filter. And you can change separation with the comma and period keys again. So you can see it's kind of like a grid, because I'm kind of like rendering 2 images, but every other pixel. Alright, well, the next filter is the edge detection filter. So it finds large areas of contrast and sets them to white so it looks like an outline. You can change the weight of the edge detection with the comma and period keys. So less weight, more weight. And you can change the size of the region. Move it around. Move it to the security cam. Yeah, pretty cool. Alright, so next filter is the embossed filter, like a boss. It's basically a gradient filter that finds the largest difference between pixels and sets them to a grayscale value. And you can manipulate the region like you did in a couple of the other filters. Alright. The next filter is the toon shader. If you've played games like Borderlands, you might recognize this filter. You can change its threshold with the comma and period keys, and you can change its quantized value with 0 and p, although it doesn't make much difference until you get to the really low values. Alright, the next filter is our mystery filter. I call it the seasick filter. To initialize it, you press period. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, and so you can do that globally, or you can do that locally on the security cam. It's basically a sine function. Alright. And our final filter is my customized noise filter. So the CPU is sending a random value between 0 and 43,000 to the shader, and the shader uses this value to calculate a random number between 0 and 1 based on the texture offset, both the X and Y. So if you didn't send the value from the CPU, it would just be a static noise. It wouldn't change like it is now. So that's why I've sent a random value through from the CPU. So that's it. Check out the README for a complete list of commands. Cheers.